Alright everyone, what's going on you guys? Brian back here with another recap video, this time about NWA Hard Times. The event took place tonight. It is now in the books, so a lot to talk about. Two new champions were crowned. We saw the crowning of a new NWA television champion in the tournament, and I'll get into that in just a moment. Also, the NWA World Heavyweight title was on the line, so let me get right into it as well with and that particular matchup between the combatants had very interesting stipulations for that one. So I'll get into that in just a moment. But we started off the show with the TV title tournament first round matches. There were 3 of them. And I'll get into which match did not happen, but there was a advancement for one of those particular participants. Well, we started off with Trevor Murdoch defeating the Question Mark. That was the opening matchup of this show. Trevor Murdoch won after hitting 2 top rope bulldogs. He would face the winner of Zicky Dice and Dan Moff, representing Ring of Honor Wrestling. And Dan Moff would defeat Zicky Dice to advance to the semifinals. So one of the semifinals was set. It would be Trevor Murdoch taking on Dan Moff. Then we had Matt Cross taking on Ricky Starks in the third first round match. Ricky Starks, sorry about that. Ricky Starks would pick up the win in that one, and he would advance to the semifinals. Then they would announce that due to injury, Ken Anderson was not medically cleared to compete, and thus Tim Storm would receive a bye in the first round and would go on to the semifinals to face Ricky Starks. Tim Storm came out and cut a promo saying he didn't want to win it this way. He didn't want to receive a bye this way, but he'll take the W and he'll continue fighting. So it is what it is. However, now there is a rumor going around that the reason why Anderson was not there was because he was pulled from the event due to the fact that he's going to be working a event for Impact Wrestling and WrestleMania weekend, and it's going to be coming back with D'Lo Brown as Aces and Eights. So that's an interesting rumor to be swirling around on online. Whether it's true or not, who knows? But that is what the rumor is right now. And that is why we did not get Ken Anderson versus Tim Storm. Then we had the announcement that their next event will be happening in April, and it will be the Crockett Cup. Now, for those of you that have seen the Crockett Cup in the past, know of the legendary teams that have won it: the Road Warriors, the Superpowers, being Nikita Koloff and Dusty Rhodes. Just recently, I believe it was last year or the year before, that Villain Enterprises' Brody King and PCO, the current Ring of Honor World Champion, they won the Crockett Cup. And so it'll be interesting to see what teams are going to be entered into it and which team will come out on top. So then we move on. Speaking of tag teams, the NWA World Tag Team Championships were decided tonight in a 3-way. It was the Rock and Roll Express defending against the Wild Cards, Tom Latimer and Royce Isaacs, and the unlikely tag team and the newly formed tag team of James Storm, and Eli Drake. Now, this one had an interesting ending because Robert Gibson had spent most of the match on the outside. He was being attacked by Camille who was in the corner of the Wild Cards, and near the end of the match, Camille would get Robert Gibson's attention. Then when Ricky Morton was going to go hit the Canadian Destroyer, I believe it was on Eli Drake, Royce Isaacs would try to pull him off. He would get super kicked, but then Eli would hit Ricky Morton with the gravy train, and Camille would stop Robert Gibson from getting back in the ring to help break up the pin. So, therefore, we have new NWA World Tag Team Champions in Eli Drake and James Storm. They would cut a promo after the match, basically making it clear that it doesn't matter what we call them, but we'll call them champions or champs. So, congratulations go out to Eli Drake and James Storm for that big victory, and they're winning the NWA Tag Team Championships. The next one was the NWA Women's Title match. It was Thunder Rosa challenging Allison Kay. This was a great matchup between two very talented women wrestlers, and both of them delivered in this contest. Thunder Rosa got the win, and she is the new NWA Women's Champion. Afterwards, she would celebrate with Marty Bell and Melina, who would come in and give and hug her and congratulate her. So a big congratulations to Thunder Rosa for becoming the new NWA Women's World Champion. And hats off to Allison Kay. She has held that championship for a very long time, and tonight she got beat by the better woman. So now we move on to the semifinals of the TV title tournament. Before that, I believe it was after this match, after the women's title match, that we heard from Marty Scurll, where he was like wondering why Nick Aldis is not defending the NWA World Title, and why the NWA title is not on the line in the match between Nick Aldis and Flip Gordon. Nick Aldis would come out. He would basically say that he'll give Flip Gordon a chance at the NWA title on one condition, that if Flip Gordon wins, he becomes champion. However, if Nick Aldis wins, then any business concerning him and Ring of Honor, he gets to call the shots, basically. And the first part of it is that Marty Scurll had to leave the arena. So Marty accepted those stipulations, and I'll get into that match in just a moment. But we had the semifinals of the television title tournament. Trevor Murdoch took on Dan Maff. Dan Maff dominated most of this match, but in the end, it was Trevor Murdoch picking up the victory again with the top rope bulldog, pinning him 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring, and thus advancing to the finals. I mean, this Trevor Murdoch took a beating in this match and in the match that he had in the first round against the Question Mark. So it is what it is. My hat's off to Trevor Murdoch for such a great effort tonight. The second one was Ricky Starks versus a fresh Tim Storm. And Ricky Starks wound up winning this one with a crucifix, pinning Tim Storm's shoulders to the mat for the 1, 2, 3 and advancing to the finals. So the finals were set. Ricky Starks versus Trevor Murdoch. The winner would be the NWA Television Champion. Then we had the NWA World Title tournament, NWA World Title match. Sorry guys, I really enjoyed this show tonight. Watching it, I really enjoyed it, so I would recommend checking it out. Nick Aldis defended the NWA World Title against Flip Gordon. The matchup was great. I thought Flip Gordon really brought his A game, but it was not enough, as Nick Aldis would once again come out the victor and retain the NWA World Heavyweight Title and the 10 pounds of gold that he calls Sweet Charlotte or something like that. So a big victory and a huge successful title defense by the NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis, and thus with this win, he gets to now call the shots for any business that Ring of Honor and Marty Scurll have with him. He gets to call the shots. So, and that's so a successful, like I said, a successful title defense for the National Treasure, Nick Aldis, retaining his NWA World Title. So then the main event was the NWA TV Title Finals. Ricky Starks taking on Trevor Murdoch. Really good match. Murdoch got the advantage a little bit later in the match, but Ricky Starks was not deterred from winning this matchup and winning this tournament, and that is exactly what he did, hitting a pop-up powerbomb and then the stroke, and thus pinning Trevor Murdoch's shoulders to the mat, and Ricky Starks is your new NWA Television Champion. I've been very impressed watching Ricky Starks on NWA Power. I think he's a tremendous athlete, tremendous wrestler, and honestly, it is what it is. And now he can be called, and his name will be added to the list of legendary names that have held that NWA Television Championship, that include the likes of Dusty Rhodes, Tully Blanchard, Roddy Piper, Arn Anderson, just to name a few, Greg Valentine, just to name a few. So big congratulations and hats off to Ricky Starks on becoming the NWA Television Champion. The other match I forgot to mention happened before the NWA World Title match. It was for the National Championship. Scott Steiner defeated Aaron Stevens via disqualification because the question mark got involved. Really didn't care for that match very much. It was pretty much Steiner dominating and then going for the victory, but then question mark came in and got Aaron Stevens disqualified. So with that being said, for those of you that watched NWA Hard Times, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. I thought it was a really good show. Once again, a really good event. But I would love to hear from you guys what you guys thought of it. So that about wraps it up. So this has been my NWA Hard Times event recap. As always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.